Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another BEJ live stream, daily live stream. Actually, we come on every day at 10 a.m. JST live on our official live YouTube channels, right? Live YouTube streaming channel. If you are not yet subscribed, consider subscribing. The link to subscribe is down below. If you're watching on Facebook, the link is also in the description as well. Click on that so that you can be notified each day when we go live. If you would like to call in, the number is in the description as well. And there's a Skype ID as well that you can add us on. And once we see the request, we will have you on so we can, discuss various things. Welcome again. The time is it's after 10. It's actually 10:24 right now. Outside the temperature is 7 degrees Celsius. At least it feels like 7 degrees Celsius outside. But the official temperature is 10 degrees Celsius, and it should be raining at about what, 5 p.m. today. So it's a little bit chilly, like a little bit chilly outside. How are you guys doing? Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you guys. It's another day, another live stream here on BEJ. Okay, let's see. See, so this one. How are you guys doing, guys? Talk to me. Talk to me. Busy Mike, it's fine, man. Good evening, Valcover. Mylin, how you doing? Enola, welcome. Yeah, Busy Mike. You can feel free, man. You can go and watch your other programming. You can spend some time here and you can spend some time there. No pressure, no worries. You come on, I believe almost every single day, so I appreciate that. Right, so definitely, that's fine. Okay, let's see. Yeah, how are you guys doing? What is the latest and the greatest? How you guys doing? Talk to me. Talk to me. Okay, let's see. Guess we could go with this. Chili Freeman, how you doing? What's up? Welcome, 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 welcome. Hanging in there. Yeah. Oh well, I guess COVID-19. Maureen, how are you doing? Thanks for coming on. And who else? Dicky. Hey, what's up? I'm good. I'm good. Lana, how you doing? I'm fine. Melanie from Bahamas. Welcome, Melanie. Thanks, Maureen. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. Yeah. So guys, today's what? What day is it? It's Sunday, and apparently, I think someone said it's Easter. It's crazy with all that's going on. Like, I'm not even sure. I never remembered. I was talking to my brother recently, in Jamaica, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's Easter weekend coming up." I'm like, "Oh," and so he told me something. My brother told me something about the lockdown in what do you call it, in Jamaica. It's quite extreme. For instance, let me give you an example or a comparison really quickly. I reside in Tokyo, Japan, and the state of emergency that 7 out of Japan's 47 prefectures is facing right now is not as strict or restrictive as in Jamaica. In Jamaica, listen to this. The current curfew or lockdown goes from 3 p.m., right? 3 p.m. In the evening until 7 the following morning. So it's from 3 p.m. Can you imagine? So from the afternoon until 7 the following morning. And if you're caught outside, you have to pay a fine of either 1 million Jamaican dollars, which is about equivalent to about, I don't know, 995,000 N, which is maybe $9,842 US, approximately, somewhere there. So you got to do that or serve 1 year in jail. So he told me that he shared a story with me that he went out because he wanted to get, like, I guess a rake or something from the trunk of his car or something like that. So he went out to get it, And apparently there were police driving around patrolling at some early morning because my brother is like an early riser and he goes out and do stuff early. So he was gonna like get the rig to clean his yard or whatever. And he's like, he saw the police and he had to like just dip fast. He had to just, run back home. The car was outside, but he had to just run back in because it was on the road, right? Um, so that's how crazy it is right now in Jamaica, and you can you imagine other places as well? It's not just Jamaica, but for me, I grew up in Jamaica, and I cannot even fathom like such a reality in Jamaica. But COVID-19 has changed the world over. So that's crazy. 3 p.m. And I know the police in Jamaica, they don't play. So like these police they don't play. They're not like police in other countries. Okay, they do not play. Um, yeah. So it's crazy, man. That's what COVID-19 has done. I think Japan, maybe other countries. I'm not sure. It's funny because when Japan was going to, uh, I guess, when the state of emergency was a consideration, I was a bit nervous at one point because I've never seen or experienced that before in Japan, and maybe not a lot of people as well. So I was a bit worried. I'm like, what is it going to look like? How restrictive will this thing be? And now that we are currently in a state of emergency in Japan, so what, seven prefectures: Tokyo, Kanagawa, Osaka. I'm not. Oh, wait. Yeah, Osaka, right? Yeah, I think believe Hyogo as well. Where else? Saitama and two more, Fukuoka and another place. So like seven. Um, but it's not as restrictive. You go outside, you can go do whatever as long as it's like an essential activity, or trip, to the store or whatever. But you won't be penalized. So if they stop you, you won't you won't be arrested. Anything like that won't Nothing like that will happen to you, right? So it's one of those things where it's crazy. And just to think that in Jamaica, that's going on. Yeah, so that's yeah. Hey, I guess maybe it will work at the very least. Again, guys, if you guys want to call, check the description for the link for the Skype ID and the phone number if you want to call direct. And if you wanna come on, and then I can have the video or just the audio. Message me on Skype, right? And then I'll just send you a link, and then you can come on over. And we can have a chat. I have a friend who take a letter from her job, and oh, I see. So she take a letter and identification in case she gets pulled over. It's kind of crazy, eh? It's crazy. It's crazy. Daiki, what's up? It's crazy because when you think about freedoms, man, like yeah, some of these things are necessary, but my concern is, and I believe it's legitimate. My concern is that post COVID-19, the world will be a different place, and it's perfectly we're primed right now for the introduction of many new things, right? That we won't have any real growth with, right, in the beginning, because, well, like we're looking at a crisis, we're looking at a pandemic. So that will be our focus. So people can introduce anything and we will say, hey, give it to me quick, because of just the state of affairs right now, the way the world is right now. And but definitely, I believe the world will become more restrictive. My father, for instance, who um, works for the city in New York, he's saying that in order for him to go to work, apparently, so when the vaccine comes out, he's saying that they can't work unless they consent to being vaccinated, right? So that's a city worker in the state in New York saying that. So and I'm sure that's going to be the case in a lot of places. Canada, for instance, is saying, things will not return to normal until a vaccine for COVID-19, has been developed or created. So you can imagine. You can imagine a world where, um, You can't board a flight without being vaccinated or whatever else they want you to do as a result of COVID-19. Just like someone said, someone needed some documentation when she's driving to and fro work or to and from work, that to prove whatever reason that she's going to work, she's going home. Can you imagine if you got to travel now to every country with some sort of documentation beyond, your regular passport or a visa if you require one, or like that, those things. You need an additional documentation to prove something else, that you're gonna travel to a country, or before you can return to school, or before you can return to work. So if you decide, for whatever reason, on whatever basis, that you don't want to partake in whatever it is, then you won't be able to work, you won't be able to go to school, you won't be able to travel, and you probably won't be able to do a lot more things. So someone is asking, are we being groomed? As possible, but only time will tell. But it's not any stretch of the imagination that, because we know government sometimes usually overstep, and they usually do more than is needed. Any industry or anything that the government gets into, they usually just do way more than is necessary. All right, that's why, like, when regulation comes into certain industries, like for instance, we're talking about cryptocurrency, for example. Once the government gets involved, a lot of things become more restrictive, and it's a lot different than the way people like it. But that's just the way it is. So it's not any stretch of the imagination for me to imagine a post COVID-19 world where like, because the thing is, it's like a reset. Think about it for a second. All this is happening, and many countries, I think it's what, 174 countries in the world, or 76, something like that, give or take a few countries, that are battling COVID-19 right now. So I can imagine it's like a reset. Everything now has been slowed down. Everything has been slowed down, right? And now everyone is like getting used to this COVID-19 existence, right? We're getting used to this COVID-19 existence. So we're used to it now. And then by the time a vaccine comes out or whatever else happens, it's easy for them to implement something to say, okay, now we have the vaccine, or as a result of COVID-19, this is the way that we're going to go forward to avoid any further pandemic, to avoid a resurgence of the virus. So we have to proceed in this manner. And the first requirement is, whether it's vaccination or whatever it is, you need some additional thing. You need some other freedoms will be, extinguished. Whatever it is. So it's not far-fetched. I can see it. And people would just grab it up so fast. People would just grab it up so fast and move along with it, because we're like, it's for the greater good. So I sometimes I'm suspicious. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm just like, I question. I'm just like, this seems way too convenient. So the only thing that will I guess verify any suspicions that anyone has is post COVID-19. After that, we'll all see. Let's see how many freedoms have been taken away. Let's see what things or measures will be taken post COVID-19, because some of the measures right now seems a little bit extreme, if I'm being blunt, in terms of some of the lockdowns and what it's actually doing to businesses and people's livelihood and all these things. So let's see what post COVID-19 looks like. None of us knows. There's a lot of uncertainty, but I think we can judge. Let's say within 18 months, within 18 months timeline post COVID-19, let's see the implementations of changes. Let's see what happens within that period, and then we can see, okay, this was the intention maybe in people doing what they're doing, in governments doing what they're doing, and then we can say, okay, I guess this is what they wanted to introduce, because this is like a reset. It's like a reset. I'm not lying. It's like a reset. And I think anyone that can allow their minds to think about, yes, what's taking place, but also venture further and think a little bit deeper and observe what you're seeing, and just the way the world works or history, then you might see, okay, something, but let's see what happens, y'all. Let's see what happens, man. Because when my brother told me about what's taking place in Jamaica, of all places, um, because stuff like that doesn't happen in Jamaica, and just even other countries as well. You're just like, man, wow. If you wanted to change the way of the world, if you wanted to introduce something new, this is a perfect opportunity, and I cannot see how people will not take advantage of what we're facing right now. There's no way, unless this is just a precursor, unless this is a some type of like test. Let's see. I don't know, man. But the response to COVID-19, people are dying indeed, which is horrible. I had a friend who had COVID-19, and he said he almost died. So he said this thing is no joke. But the response to COVID-19 seems, man, like it's unprecedented. It's potentially extreme. I'm not gonna lie. To think about the devastating blow that the economy, the global economy, is taking or has taken. To think about that. Some businesses are no longer in existence. The unemployment rate is through the roof. There's so many things. But hey, we'll see what happens post COVID-19. But it's gonna be a brave new world, or it's gonna be different. And I'm just thinking about traveling, for instance. I'm like, man, can you imagine the potential legislations, bills, laws? But yeah, anyways, that's my thing. I was gonna have someone on today. Um, okay, so I guess tomorrow I'll have that person on. But let's see what you guys are saying in the comment section. So Enola said her curfew is at 9 p.m. in Boston. Ramonia said her curfew is 5 p.m. in Alabama. Montgomery. Marine. It's just like in the movies or books. Everyone will be microchipped with all demographic and biological information. Hope not. Because everyone knows when we talk about chip, like I've been researching about that from time. Like RFID, RFID. That's already, well, some people do have the chip, not a lot. Animals do have it, as you guys know. Um, but yeah, anytime that subject come up, people are like, "Oh my god," it's the end. So I know there will be some resistance if that is brought to the fore. Um, but the way Japan is handling it, the cases are rising, but people are still living, people are still going to work, people are still. It doesn't feel like you're in, some type of like some of those societies, that no one wants to live in. So I guess that's not bad. Who's this? Nick from LA. How you doing? Justin, I don't think things are as crazy as Jamaica is happening in Canada and the US. Wait. So you're saying that can Canada and the US are more restrictive? Right? So is it bad in Japan with the virus or under control? I won't say it's under control in terms of like the numbers are still not that high, but they're rising steadily. In Tokyo, across Japan. Um, but in comparison to other countries, it's not the worst country by far. Um, I won't say it's under control though. And I think, based on what I've heard, they might be thinking about making it more restrictive, depending on whether or not people are complying with the recommendations. So it might change. That's a possibility. Chili Freeman, a girl I grew up with, finally found out she no longer has her job. Oh, wait, what? Oh, she no longer has it, so she had COVID-19. I see. I see. Justin is saying, out here in the Inaka, I'm supposed to start work this week. Yeah. Okay, you're saying that the Caribbean or Jamaica is less restrictive than the U.S. and Canada. Um, so far still kind of regular. Yeah, man. Hold on, let me get some of this. Yeah. Again, I'll just say it. If you guys want to call, numbers are in the description down below or above. Just drop me a message on Skype, and I will provide you with the link to come over this side. NY Finest, I got my BEJ cup today. Thank you. Oh, nice. Do you want to call in? Do you want to call in and show me your cup? You can show us your cup and you can talk. Um, Mylin, where I live in the pollen mold count. The pollen mold count is very high. I suffer from allergies and dare not go out in public places. I'm constantly clearing my throat, coughing and sneezing. My hubby does all the shopping. I understand. I was on the phone with my brother, and we were doing like a video call. And what happened? Yeah, I was eating an orange, right? Jamaicans take everything and turn it into like a joke or whatever. That's the type of people that Jamaicans are. And I'm eating the orange, right? And I guess when you're eating something and I'm lying down, so I kind of like went, I guess, the wrong place or something. So I started coughing, and he's like, "Oh, hold up!" The way he responded was hilarious, because you guys know if you're in public anywhere, and you cough or sneeze, everyone's gonna look at you as if you have COVID-19. So he was responding the same way, which was hilarious. So you just know that in Jamaica, that's a response that if you cough or sneeze, people are gonna look at you suspicious. Um, yes, it's funny. Hold on. Whew. Oh, key. Tenaj from Texas. How you doing? Nick. When is this going to end? I heard that blacks are more vulnerable to this virus. What's your comment on that? I'm not sure, man. Honestly, like right now, look, man. As my dad even said, like so much information is coming out about COVID-19, and it's just so much. It's just too much. It's like you get confused. Um, there was a rumor previously that it's a rumor, as I said, rumor. Okay, good. That black people were immune or less likely to contract COVID-19, and then now we can see that that rumor has come full circle, where they're now saying that black people are more susceptible to contracting the virus. And some people are saying that might be the reason why those people in Guangzhou, in China, why they're being treated the way they're being treated. That the news may have made its way, or the rumor, I'm not sure if it's verified or not, might have made its way to China, and people are treating black people, particularly the Africans in that area that's notorious for racism, anti-black racism. They're saying that might be a catalyst for what's taking place. And I just find that so convenient, though. I find it so convenient because what I said earlier, maybe a few weeks ago or a couple weeks ago, was that imagine if this thing originated in Africa or somewhere where there's a lot of black people. Imagine the world's response to us. I'm like, God save us, man, because in terms of increased discrimination and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? I was telling my wife, I'm like, yeah, we're lucky, you know. But now, lo and behold, it seems like a narrative is being slowly changed to literally spotlight black people as the the carriers or the most susceptible or the most contagious. Can you imagine? It's crazy. And I believe it's a narrative that people just jump on so fast. Yeah, anyways. Let's see how that goes. Chili, has your personal life changed after these last couple of weeks? Daily, I mean. Daily, well, I'm doing most of the same things. Of course, one thing that most of us face right now, you can't really travel. So traveling is not something that you can really do. And a lot of people, I see people posting about missing travel. Um, yeah, so the last place I went to was Singapore. Um, that was a pretty fun trip. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty cool trip. But that was like the last trip before all the restrictions came into place, and all the places are locked down right now. People are being stranded, and that was that was one of my concerns as well. I never wanted to be stranded anywhere. Right, so I think that's the main thing that has been changed for most people overall. Um, but for the most part, you know, things are the same. My family are fine. We're good. We're good. Brian, has the death rate in Japan raised a great deal? It's rising. Um, I won't say exponentially, but it's rising. It's definitely day of it's definitely higher each day with each passing day, and it seems to be picking up the pace. Yeah, man. Post COVID-19, I can't imagine like like we lived to see such a time as this, right? The entire world is on its knees. It's a crazy time, isn't it, guys? It's a crazy time, man. Like, wow, right? Wow. As I said, it just shows our vulnerability. How vulnerable we are as a people, as a world. We think we're in 2020. People got all these things under control, and then now people can't work. People can't do so many things that we're used to because of COVID-19. Even the way that we're operating with each other is even changing. Social distancing. Um, will that leave an indelible mark on us? I'm not sure. Maybe, because now we're already on our phones all the time. We're on the train, on the plane. Well, maybe not on the plane. On the buses. Walking around. On our phones, driving on our phones, and now people are so far apart. We're distanced socially because of social media. I know we're distanced, right? Physically because of COVID-19. Who knows what the world is going to look like afterwards? Maybe the next, I don't know. All this is speculation, of course, but I'm just saying. I'm just using my imagination. More of what's up. Imagine if the next decade or two we're living in or the next decade. Let's say the next decade between now and 2030, humans start treating each other like everyone has a plague. So there's no one wants to walk close to anyone. You're suspicious now of every person that sneezes, every person that coughs, every person that has a fever. It's like a new age. I saw this TED talk where someone said, COVID-19 is our future. That was the title. And it's just probably to get people like, click the video and watch it. You know, um, we see all these different videos, and that might be the reality. That might be the reality. We're entering a new world, um, for sure. I cannot see it going any other way. I'm sorry. I'm like, as much as I use my imagination, I'm like, I can't see how this will return to normal. There's no possible way. It's like 2019 was the last of that era. We're now in a new era, right? So we're now in this place of preparation. We're now in this place of, you're getting ready to enter in something new, something different. What do you guys think? Do you guys feel the same way? You know, like when you have your phone or device and you're doing something on your phone and you do a hard reset. You know, you interrupt everything that's going on because what the phone, for instance, might be freezing or whatever the case is, and then you just you hold down the power button and the volume or whatever you do, and the menu button or something, and you hold it for like 3 seconds until the phone powers down completely, regardless of what you're doing. Or even if you're watching a movie on your phone or you're doing something on your phone, you can stop in the middle of that process and just like squeeze it and it powers down, hard reset, or you know factory reset. That's what's going on. So we're in that stage right now of, I feel, of course I don't know anything, so I'm just talking, but I'm just saying what I feel, as a human that shares this planet with all you guys and more and a few other billion people, that we're in that place of the hard reset right now, right? So we're in that place right now. But when we come out on the other side, it's gonna be a different world. Of course, yeah, of course we're gonna adapt. Don't you see people are already adapting to COVID-19? People got live concerts online. You go on Instagram, they got live parties going on. People are making parody videos, quarantine videos. Yeah, people are just doing stuff. People are just doing stuff. People are adapting already. It's like the norm. Like we saw videos with people in Italy, playing music on their balconies and stuff. They can't go outside. We're humans. We adapt. But yeah, the future, I'm not sure if it's going to be brighter than the past few years. It might be darker. So I think we need to prepare ourselves as much as we possibly can. It's like I went to sleep and woke up to a different world, indeed. My wife says paranoia will lingers post COVID-19. Guys, again, if you want to call, please, the number is in the description down below. And you can also use the ID, add me on Skype. I'll get you in, and then we can chat. Of course, as you guys can see, there's no topic today. There's no topic. Here we go. Shula. Okay. Give me a second, Shula. I will give you a link. Once you receive the link, call in. Hold on, Shula. Okay, okay, you know what? I'm going to have to maybe mute that. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Use that too. Okay, let's see. No. Yeah, the Skype thing is so loud. Just turn it off. Okay, so I gave Shola. Yep, I gave you that. You got to use that link. If you want to come on, it says it looks like we're gonna have a caller just now. Who's gonna come on? Hey, what's up, Earl? How you doing? I did not see that video, Busy Mike. Yeah, that just had me thinking. From what I've heard that the African government, not African government, just some countries, they're gonna try to intervene on behalf of their citizens in China. So let's see how that plays out. But just seeing that comment just really rubbed me the wrong way. Mokhtar, good morning. Okay, so Shola is gonna come on. Um, Shola, hello. Can you
Yeah,
hear
can you
me?
hear me?
Yeah. Where are you calling from? And do you want to turn the video on or you just want to remain anonymous?
I was just gonna leave the video off.
Okay. Okay, no problem. What's up?
Not much. I'm actually here in Japan, Kanagawa Prefecture.
Okay, okay. So you
Yeah,
are facing the state of emergency as well.
yes.
Did you feel the earthquake last night? Did you feel it?
There was an earthquake?
Yeah, it was like 5.1. It shook for like a while, maybe like 15, 20 seconds maybe. It was long.
Wow. Nah, I didn't
Yeah.
see that at all.
Okay, okay. Yeah, talk to me.
Yeah, man. I just got here 3 months ago from United States. I was really excited because I always wanted to go to Japan,
Yeah.
and then the COVID happened.
Yep. This is a different
Yeah.
experience for you, right? It's definitely different, man, because I guess you at least in you can do many of the things that you we could do before COVID-19 in Japan, but now like at this point it might be a little bit more restrictive. You might not see as many people outdoors now.
Well, I'm a little excited that not excited, but I was a little happy that I was able to go to Tokyo and experience everything when I first got here. But now
Okay.
things seem a little dead. Well, actually, a lot dead.
Well, so you're here for, are you here long term or yeah? Long term like you're
Yeah, I'm
working
here long
or
term.
okay, well then COVID-19 you'll be able to experience it, post COVID-19. Because one thing I think about Japan, I'm like, based on the way they're responding, I feel as though if anything happens in the world in terms of restricted movement or whatever post COVID-19, I think Japan might not be as restrictive. So I think it's probably a decent place to be, even afterwards. So I think it won't change much, at least not
Yeah,
now.
and I really like that approach that Japan is taking. It seems like they really do care about their people, and they're also thinking about the economy as well.
Yeah.
The thing that I don't really like about COVID, it's the individual country's response to it. Like on a government level and more of like a social level as well.
Mm-hmm. No,
I don't
what you said?
necessarily think the
Sorry.
COVID situation is as bad as people are really making it out to be. And
Okay.
I'm not trying to downplay all the deaths, but if you're looking at like all the statistics, it's not affecting a large amount of people. It's like 10% at its highest are dying after being infected. So
I'm not.
it just seems.
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
sure of the stats, but the thing is, I did. There were a lot of like rumors going around until I had a and then I was like, I'm not sure what's going on really. But when a close friend of mine, who's like a brother to me, said like because I never heard from him for maybe like a week or two, and I felt this vibe or urge to call him, but I didn't. When he finally messaged me, he told me that he was hospitalized in the States because he had COVID-19. And he told me that he almost died and he was just discharged. And he's
Hmm.
now at home quarantined. So I know this person really well. So for him to tell me that and he's telling me that this thing is no joke, I'm like, I believe him. So when that kind of changed my mindset to know that someone that's
Hmm.
as close to me as that dude actually almost died from what he went through. So when it comes on to what's going on right in terms of that, I'm like, okay, that hit pretty close to home. So, but
Right.
for me, but I do concur with you when it comes on to the response to COVID-19 on a global level. I feel like it might be, I don't know, I feel it might be too restrictive. It might be too extreme in terms of one life is very valuable. I get that. So I don't want to downplay that either. But
Right.
the response to it, it seems very extreme though, because a lot of like
That's
things will
and
be
that's
destroyed
what I'm
as a
saying. I
result.
think I was listening to you the other day, and there was a researcher or some doctor who was just saying like, "Hey, man, we don't have the proper statistics. Like we don't to be responding in a way that we are now."
Yeah.
And I'm sorry about your friend. That sucks. I guess when a situation like that happens, it always brings the situation into light a lot more.
Yeah, it does.
But but in order to make like a sound decision, we need numbers, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so right now in Japan, I think we can kind of draw a conclusion as to why the numbers of infected are really low compared to other countries. I don't think there's a proper method of testing, or at least
Okay.
I don't think that they're testing as much as other countries are.
Yeah, maybe that might be the case because Japan right now they're slow. Their response was slow in testing, but the thing that I agree with, my concern honestly, like my concern is just the response to it. That's my concern because I'm like we've gone through stuff before. People are they're saying this is the worst. Even Japan, the prime minister himself said this is the worst crisis that Japan has faced post World War II. So this is
Hmm.
like number two in comparison to World War II, which is we know what World War II did to Japan. Um,
Right.
but I feel like the response, the just I it might be too extreme overall, the world over,
Hmm.
just the way it is. Because as I said, they're damaging all like businesses are going away, like people are
Right.
going bankrupt. It's ripping the world apart. And
Right.
the thing is, it's not. I wouldn't say that's COVID because people are saying COVID-19 caused this. It's a response to it, right? So
Right.
this is how they chose to respond to it in different countries. And of course, as I
Right.
said, and people, like people say stuff about me, and I can say that what I can't really talk about the government's real because I'm not sure what they're faced with. Like when
Right.
usually when you're in someone's shoes, when you're in the position, there are probably things that you're privy to and things that you have to do that someone else won't understand because they're standing on the outside. So I'm not going to try to criticize them too much. I'm not sure how the politics works behind the scenes, if they were pressured by the populace, or I'm not sure. But I feel as an outsider looking in, if I should just render my opinion without knowing all the details, I feel like it might be too extreme because of the response or the things that are happening as a result of the responses, like people losing jobs, the economy
Mm.
being destroyed, businesses are being shuttered. There's so many things, and this is something that will take a while for us to
Right.
recover from as a people or countries, right?
Right.
So many, yeah. So I don't
And
know.
when you bring up all that, it does raise a lot of red flags, at least for me.
No,
Um,
well, for me as well, of course. Like,
so
okay,
like
like,
if we go back to like the response, right? Either someone's lying. Either this thing is a lot more serious or it's not. And the response to COVID seems to mean that this is serious.
yeah,
And if it's serious, what is it that the public doesn't really know or understand? Because right now it just seems like there's this like vagueness.
yeah,
Everybody stay inside until we come up with a vaccine, and we don't know when.
yeah, yeah.
So,
No, definitely. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, no,
and
I know where you're going. Oh, sorry. Let me, yeah, finish.
no, 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 it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
It's like okay. I believe what you're saying, and some people don't allow themselves to think about anything because they feel like if they do, it's whatever. But I'm like, we're free thinkers. People should be free thinkers at least,
Right.
and people should be free to just explore ideas. And
Hmm.
as you're saying, but right now on YouTube, for instance, you can't say anything because look, if you speak about COVID-19 and what you're saying does not, it contradicts the main narrative, you will be silenced. It's no
Oh,
if nor but nor maybe. So that would
I took it upon myself to come on this live stream anyway, knowing that
but no,
fact. So
but
I
no,
know
yeah,
exactly where you're coming from,
yeah.
man.
So that's what I'm.
I understand.
So if we're looking at indicators like that, at the very least, I feel as though it would make people suspicious at least. I'm like, why can't people say anything at all? You're telling me that in the age of 2020, of information, of
Hmm.
all these things that's going on, we can't even just think about something. We can't have a discussion about,
Hmm.
okay, like it's like you should have no opinion. It's like shut your mouth or be silenced.
Right.
Like
Right.
like that
Yeah.
or support what's going on. But as I said,
Hmm.
I'm concerned about the world post COVID-19 because I could see how this could, yeah, it's a
Oh
reset. I
yeah,
could see,
it's already too late. We already had the instruments put in place a long time ago. Now we're just enacting them and
Yeah.
adding more.
Yeah.
And uh, all the silence around COVID and all the censorship,
Yep.
it's made, in my opinion, to keep the public uneducated.
Yeah.
And it's not what the virus is doing that's the scary part.
Yep.
It's our response. My question would be is
Precisely.
why is it taking so long for a vaccine to come? What are the mechanics to bringing out a drug to combat this type of virus? Those
But
are the things that we should be looking
no,
at.
no, no, but no, but to your first, the first thing that you brought up about why is it taking so long? Based on what I've seen, it takes a lot of trials and stuff for vaccinations to actually be approved, right? Because they need to go through these stages. They need like human trials and all that. So it's a
Mhm.
lot of work before they can bring something like that to the public to make sure that it's safe overall. So when they're introducing like medicine, that's just
Mhm.
the procedure. So that's why it takes a while. It's not something that they could just say, let's just do this really quickly. They need to know how different people will respond to it, all that stuff. So that's why it's taking so long. But just like you said, I'm not saying that. As I said, I have a friend who close to me like a brother. Like we talk on the phone
Mhm.
sometimes for 2 hours, like close, like you right. And
Mhm.
this guy almost died. So I'm saying I'm not saying that this thing isn't serious or it won't have an adverse effect on
Mhm.
people. So I'm saying, of course, take all the precautions, like do
Right.
all the things that they're saying. So I'm not saying people shouldn't do it.
Mm.
Wash your hands, wear your mask, do whatever you can to
Mhm.
prevent yourself from contracting it. Work out, eat healthy. But at the
Okay.
same time, I think we have the right to criticize or at least
Mm.
discuss the response to it, which is your
Mm.
concern and my concern as well, right? And
Right.
a lot,
100%. I agree.
yeah, people
Yeah.
are concerned about that because as I said before, my father who works for the city in New York, he said that he
Mhm.
can't go back to work and like once the vaccine comes out, for example, he cannot go back to work unless he takes the vaccine. So
See, there you go.
42 people at his work have died from COVID-19, right? And so
Mhm.
they're discussing. I'm not sure if it's public yet. Maybe no. Anyways, and maybe it's gonna come out or whatever. But they're
Mhm.
discussing, as I said, that you know what, when this thing comes out,
Mhm.
all y'all gotta get it, or you can't
Right.
come back to work, right? And that's
Right.
just one. That's just them. So I can see this
Mhm.
thing going all over, along with other restrictions. So, for instance, we're in
Mhm.
Japan, right? It's possible that they might say, listen, y'all can't travel nowhere unless y'all get something and get some certification or something
Mhm.
to prove that you're safe to travel wherever you want to go.
Mhm.
So the world might look very different, bro. So I think we have a right to be concerned at the very
Right.
least, and bring
Yeah.
these things to the government to say. I think people should speak up to say, okay, yes, we understand what's going on, and just let's just say, okay, serious, all that good stuff. Cool, we're taking all the precautions, but we're still concerned about our freedoms. What are you guys going to be doing to preserve them? To make sure that you don't overstep or do too much to restrict us from just being the way we were post pre COVID-19. I think that's a legitimate argument. I think.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Like I like playing different positions in arguments just to kind of promote more diversity of thought.
Mm-hmm.
And we always hear like the reasons as to why things are the way that they are. And I
Yeah.
think it's a little bit unfortunate that at this day and age, with all the technology that we have, we're here. And I just find it hard to believe that we can't figure a solution to this problem that we have right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not it's like the question now is what can be done, like what can we as a citizens do, right? Because like prime example, I use traveling because it's the simplest, it's one of the first things that affected, so people couldn't enter some places, you couldn't fly in, fly out, whatever. So I use that as an example, and I'm saying what can we do as just people, like the populace, not those the officials, the government, whatever. What can we do to I'm not sure to raise awareness or get people to start thinking about, okay, like what would the world look like, I think a lot of people
Hmm.
are caught up with what's taking place right now, and they don't want to hear anything else. They just want to. Some people are just saying, "Listen, man, just solve this thing by any means necessary," which I think is that's problematic. Because if you're gonna say solve it by any means necessary, people might very well overstep. So I think we should just, just say we acknowledge what's going on. Okay, please consider and think about the freedoms that they need. I don't know, they need a group of people, whoever they are, to be
Yeah, yeah, that's
like
what.
some
Right.
that advocates for the preservation of certain freedoms and make sure that these people don't overstep and do too much. It's crazy. It's crazy because can you
Yeah.
imagine, as I said, in Jamaica as an example, people cannot venture outside after 3 p.m., between 3 p.m. and 7 a.m. the following morning without being fined $1 million, which is about maybe just let's say about 10,000 US dollars, and or being imprisoned for 1 year. And these people don't
It's
play in
crazy.
Jamaica, which means if they find you outside, you're getting locked up. There's no negotiation. You going in that truck, right? So I'm just like, that's what we're talking about. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I have a daughter that's 5, and I'm thinking about those people who are pregnant right now. I'm like, can you imagine you're gonna bring a child into this world, this whole new world? It's gonna be crazy, man. How many freedoms are we gonna have? China right now has so much surveillance, but I don't know.
Oh
But
yeah.
all I'm saying is, for me, as just one person, I don't know what we can do at least to raise awareness of people. Just think about the freedom aspect of it and say, please, at the end of the day, do what y'all gotta do to whatever, but do not overstep. Do make sure that we're able to have an opinion, have a choice, not silence. Do
Hmm.
like, yeah. So
Yeah, that comes with the people being educated and knowing what's going on. And right now, it doesn't seem like we're doing a lot of searching, or at least I don't
But
want
you
to blame
can't.
the
But you can't
people.
even
I
search right
don't.
now. But because look, I
Right.
remember when this just came out, you would see all these different videos and things that you can find, right?
Hmm.
But now, if you search anything, you're not like, you gotta dig. You gotta dig deep
Hmm.
because you cannot find anything that doesn't support the main narrative, and I think that's
Yeah.
problematic, right? I think that's problematic
Hmm.
overall. If, for instance, like when I remember back in the day when I was a journalist, so I did for a newspaper. I wrote for a newspaper, so I was a newspaper reporter. So my editor told me that, look, anytime you're doing a story, you can never do not get one opinion. You always have to get two views. It might take you a while to get someone with an opposing view, but you have to get that to make the article balance. You can never just say, okay, this is one way. And even if you yourself agree with the position of the story, you have to find something to make sure it's balanced, something that's different. You gotta find, as much as you don't like it. So for me, when I think about freedom of speech and expression, it's imperative, it's important, I should say. It's crucial, it's
Hmm.
critical that you allow other people to voice their opposition. It's important.
Hmm.
You can't, because if you're gonna silence someone, that says a lot. If you're gonna silence a
We're,
person, it says a lot, right?
it,
If it's
right.
only a different opinion, if someone is being disrespectful to something, then you can maybe try to censor whatever certain things. But if the only thing is that they're saying something that's different from what you believe, then that's a problem.
Right. And it's tough because that ideology is becoming more of a rare breed nowadays.
Yep.
And it's like we're slowly losing the platform to be able to do that.
Yep. Yep.
So, but there's a lot of things I would like to say, but I think some certain things shouldn't be said because of. I mean, I enjoy your platform, so I don't
Yeah.
want to bring no heat to it.
Yeah.
So,
But what they'll do is
so.
they will just remove the video. Like right now, that's what they're doing. They remove videos. They
Mhm.
just take the videos down. At least that's what they're doing right now, right? Because it's still a slow climb, so they're not gonna try to do it in such a way where people are like, okay, what's going on? You're just shutting down people. So they'll remove the videos. They usually do that. It's progressive, right? You start with like one little thing, um,
Yep.
but but yeah, that's a concern of mine. I'm like, if you gotta allow people to speak, and that within itself shows
Mm.
something.
Okay, so
I'm
if
like,
there was a message that I could give out right now for the people who are watching this live stream
yeah,
is to be tolerant.
yeah,
Allow people to speak different opinions from your own, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. because the only way we're going to learn from situations like this is to understand other people experience. So
Yeah. Someone is saying that we should not expect these kinds of disasters not to impact, pretty much change the way of life
mhm,
of the world. But still, it depends. It depends still. For me, I have to. We have to look at what happens after COVID-19, and I think whatever changes take place, we need to observe those. We need to look at
mhm,
those and say, okay, or analyze those and say to ourselves, okay, well, maybe this was the reason. It depends. So
mhm.
for me, I'm gonna change. I guess you can change certain things, but how drastic will those changes be? I guess that's what I'm gonna look at and make my assessment, and like, okay, this is why this thing happened. Because yeah, okay, someone is saying things might change, okay, but it doesn't have to change the way that it looks like it's gonna change. You're gonna have to have things to travel everywhere that you're going. You're gonna be restricted. I don't even know, bro. Like, I don't know. I'm like, the changes
Yeah,
are gonna
man.
be too
I know
drastic.
In
But
China they have
go
to have
ahead.
this app on their phone that says that they're healthy and they're good to travel, but they have to have their phones on them now. It went from, just having an ID or a passport
Yeah,
to a full-blown phone that can
yeah,
be
man.
tracked.
Yeah, it's. But
Hmm.
it's one of those things where if you watch movies and we look at all these things, we can see the progression of the world. We can see where we're going, right? We can.
Yeah.
It's right now. Like for instance, almost everyone uses Amazon. For instance, everyone is ordering in. Most of us want more convenience. Everyone wants the technology. You want to do more with your phone. You want to be able to do more. Like myself, for instance, when I'm going, like a simple thing, when I'm in Japan, because you live in Japan as well, you're going to the train station, you got to tap. Sometimes, I got stuff in my hands. I'm like, I got to find my card. And even if you're using your iWatch or whatever they call it. I don't have one, but the watch that the Apple Watch or
Yeah.
whatever. People still got to press it and then you got to tap. I'm like, listen, my mind was like, for the sake of convenience, and even traveling because I do that a lot. Sometimes it's annoying to take out all your stuff. You put stuff down. I'm like, man, can they have a better way in this airport? I can't every time. So I was saying people should just walk through that checkpoint and then you have like a chip or something. That was what I was thinking, or something.
No, no, we
Even
can't go
no,
in
no,
that
no. Look,
direction.
well, even well, maybe not a chip, but I guess that's not wrong. But a chip within your watch or something that or a ring or something. So when you walk through, it automatically identifies you as a person, and then it deducts the
Hmm.
balance, the fee from your balance, and you can walk through. So you don't have to tap, you don't have to find your card, you don't have to find your access your watch, and going to the airport, even though some places it might have this, but everywhere that I go, I gotta like take all my stuff, my gears or
Yeah, I'm starting
whatever.
to experience that. That's why I'm starting to lose a
Yeah,
whole bunch of stuff now. Trying to find my train card. Where's my phone?
yeah, it's a lot of
Gotta
work.
take
It's
out
a
my
lot of
wallet.
work. Yeah, it's a lot of work, right? And people believe in innovation. So you're thinking like, man, there needs to be a better way. So because of all that, we want all these things. We're moving into voice right now. So voice is gonna take over as well. We're
Mhm.
gonna have these voice activated things. You got Alexa, you got Siri, all these things, Google Home, whatever. That's where the world is going. So we're looking at
Yeah,
we will, and the thing is, if we look, we know we're heading there. If we
yeah.
look at
We know
trends,
where we're going. We know
yeah,
where
so
we're
we
going.
know, like, if anyone that looks at it, we're only going to innovate more. There's AI coming out. It's not far-fetched to see the type of society that we're going to live in. People already, this is statistically proven. There's research out there. There's papers. You can go look at
Yeah.
it. So many people are going to lose. Studies were conducted. People are going to lose jobs. That's what they're talking about.
Hmm.
They might need a basic sort of like income for every person in the world, because once
Yeah.
AI gets out, all those low skilled workers are going to be out of jobs. So
Right.
all those people who do like cashiers, you name it,
Yeah.
whatever, no
Yeah.
jobs for them.
I think there's like one person who has, well, there's many people who have their ways about going about it. Politicians. Particularly this one guy named Elon Musk who was trying to create this device that attaches to your brain.
Did someone
It's
intercept the call? Hello,
called Neuralink.
hello. I think the AI got us.
Basically, what it does is it allows us
Shola,
to.
Shola,
It,
you for some reason something happened to the line.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Something happened to the line just now, and you just went like really really low. I'm like, they got us. AI got us, bro. They got us.
Sorry, what my friend was calling.
I can't hear
Just,
you, bro.
uh, uh,
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear. Yeah, I can. I can.
Okay, okay. I just gotta fix this audio over here on my
Okay,
my
I'm
friend
just like
called
they
me and
got
kind
us.
of tripped everything out.
Okay, I thought it was. I'm like they got us. They got us, bro. Run.
What I was saying before my friend called,
Yeah.
I don't know the last thing that you heard.
What was it? What was it? I think it was me. I think when I finished, that was it. So you got to restart what you were saying. Your response.
Yeah, you were there are lots of people trying to figure a way around, the future that's to come,
Yeah.
and people are going to be losing jobs due to AI and things like that. And there's a couple of people who have a different approach about doing it. Most politicians are talking about regulation. If you're
Mhm.
familiar with the entrepreneur named Elon Musk,
Yeah.
he's creating something called a Neuralink. And if you guys don't know what that is, just type in Neuralink on YouTube. You'll get a lot of information about it. But basically, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to pretty much make us superhuman in the fact that we could uh, pretty much I think what it does is stimulates the brain. So if you're trying to remember something, it will stimulate that part of the brain where that memory was stored, and it would allow you to think, very quickly. And this device is going to be attached to your brain, and it's going to allow you to connect to devices with just your thoughts.
Yeah.
So what Elon Musk, I believe, was saying was that the input lag between you and your device is too slow. So when we're typing or texting, it takes too long. Rather, if it's directly connected to your brain, you could just think it, and you can have a sentence or a paragraph already written in 1 second, just from thinking.
Mm. But it's
And
still it's
apparently, he's just waiting for FDA approval.
yeah, but
So
it's
they
still
already
it's
have all the things laid out.
yeah, but it's still not as advanced yet. It's not. It's still like it's still a long way from being what he envisioned. I saw the launch. I saw the launch of it, as well. And he's also saying that we are like cyborgs already because our phones are an extension of us. So
Right.
the same type of thing that Neuralink will do is what we can do with our phone. So for instance, with your phone in your hand, you can answer any questions, right? So it's like it's an extension. So he's saying, look, we're already cyborgs. Because how many of us can operate without our phones? I'm not sure. Maybe like someone that's like 100 years old, maybe. But all of us rely on our phones. Google Maps, we use it for calculations for certain things, maybe researching something, definitions, so many things to connect with people. So we are by like technically cyborgs because the
Right.
phone is an
Exactly.
extension of each of us. So, but that is still a long way. Maybe I'm not sure how long, but they're not. It's not at a level where you can do it like to the level that we can use our phone. So that Neuralink thing is still a far way off, and maybe it might only be available to like maybe the wealthy. Just like when Tesla the cars came out, it's people with money
Yeah.
who can actually afford it. So it might be a long way off from people, low skilled workers, from getting that. So that might be. I'm not sure how far from now or how long from now, but it might be a while, right? So no, what I was saying. So the whole point was just that we're getting more advanced, right? So the
Right.
things that we're talking about and what people might look at as conspiracy, it's like it's not far fetched. We're getting more advanced. We're moving away from even typing and stuff. We're gonna have a voice activated society, AR, VR. That's gonna be the future. It's not even a question. Right? It's just a matter of time. It's something that will happen. So we can see how the world will become more restrictive. We will have more surveillance. There's so many things Amazon is doing. You have the stores already where you go in, no cashiers. They have the drone thing, drone delivery. There's so many things, bro, that's coming out that is around the corner. That look, we're entering those societies that we see in movies. We're entering there, bro. I'm just like, look, when you walk, police can even know you. They see you, they scan something. Oh, they know everything about you, all your history, whatever. They don't have to like check your ID. Maybe they just like tap something. Oh, this is John Doe. Da 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 da. They know you. That's where we're going. And it's not crazy to think about it because we like convenience and we will say, yes, look at Neuralink sounds kind of cool, but well, I don't think I want to do that because now you have direct access into my brain, right? I did a research recently, which was, I don't know, for some reason came to my mind, and I think it was because Q Harrison from Inevitable Human had sent out a newsletter or something. So I did this research about the future after the internet. And I'm like,
Hmm.
who thinks about the future after the internet? And based on what they're right, it's like no one thinks about that. It's almost like we feel as though the internet is in its final form. But after the internet, based on the research I did, the humans that will come in that era, that time, will be different. I don't even think we can relate to them, because the way
No,
that they will
probably
interact
not.
with the
Not with the
society,
way technology is going.
yeah, like it's another, like it's another level. It's like an evolution. So
Hmm.
I'm all the things that we're talking about right now, bro, is so possible. Look, we're gonna live into a listen, man. It's not crazy. All this, my ramblings to say, it's not far fetched. When we hear certain conspiracies, so-called conspiracies, the world is gonna get there. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
time. We're already on our way.
Hey, look, man, I had a great time talking to you. I got to head out.
Take care,
Actually, got to
brother.
get some food, but I appreciate the conversation, the call. Thank you for giving me the time to talk, and good luck with your venture. I really appreciate what you're doing, man. Thank you.
Not a problem. Problem. Take care.
All right.
Okay, guys. Okay. Yeah, that was a cool call. Yeah, it's just where the world is going. It's we're heading there. But what can we do, man? What can we do? You just got to live through it. Prepare as much as you can. If you got kids, you got to like prepare them as much as you possibly can. And it's just the way the world works. Like it's gonna be different. It's gonna be so different. But all I'm saying, I just hope, I really hope that, and I guess I can't hope. I guess we must, the response should be speaking out, or at least letting those in power know or understand our concerns, when it comes down to freedoms, and yeah, so that we have some of that left, right? We retain our humanity. Let's see. Um, and even I can't remember the stat, but a lot of jobs right now won't be in existence. Like, trust me, the workforce is changing, will change, will change. Guys, give me 2 seconds, real quick. Oh, did I took it off? Look at it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm trying to get this. I guess this thing isn't responding to me. Okay. Okay, guys. So if you guys want to call, again, the numbers are in the description down below, and you can also add me on Skype as well. And then, so I think maybe just one more caller. I've been on for how long now? Because I'm about to conclude one. Okay, so it's over 68 minutes. So if you want to call, now is the time. Final caller, and then we're gonna call it a day. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. JST, again, we will be live for another live BEJ broadcast. Sometimes we will have guests on, sometimes we will just have a chat like this. And as we move forward, as I said before, these live broadcasts will morph, evolve, you know, and definitely get be better. Um, Remember to subscribe as well. This is the official BEJ live channel. We have the main channel, of course. Sometimes I do live stream on the main channel, depending on the subject. If it's something that I want to make sure that a lot of people know about, we live stream over there, because as you guys know, there a lot more people are on that one. This is a brand new channel that we're on right now, but this is dedicated to live stream, so you'll only find live content on this channel. Um, but yeah, so let me just check real quickly. So I guess I'll just call it a day. So tomorrow, guys, we should be having a guest on tomorrow. Let's see how that goes. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe, of course. And think on some of the things that we spoke about in this live stream. Think about the world post COVID-19, and see what you personally can do to maintain your current quality of life, all things considered, freedoms, etc. Your mobility. Can you travel to a certain place? Will you be able to go to work? What will that look like? Start thinking about these things. Asking questions and making preparations as much as you can. Like that, which is within the scope of your influence. Try to do whatever you can in that regard. Okay, guys. But well, let me just go through the comments really quickly. Is there anything that I missed? Okay, guys. Okay, that's it for today. Catch you guys tomorrow. Bye for now. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you guys. Kiss.